As Peter Saccio says in Shakespeare's English Kings, Henry is the only king in English history to be crowned twice, deposed twice, and buried twice. As the play begins, King Henry has already lost France, lost his mind, and lost the respect of his people. Around 1455, John Harding wrote a contrast between Henry's father, the warrior King Henry V, and himself. Withstand, good Lord, the outbreak of debates, and chastise well also the rioters, who in each shire are now confederates against your peace, and all their maintainers, for truly else will fall the fairest flowers of your great crown and noble monarchy, which God defend and keep through his mercy. Henry was crowned at 9 months, giving his power to the Lord Protector until 1447. Then, in 1553, King Henry suffered a sudden fit of insanity. Henry was unable to distinguish faces and names. In fact, when Henry's son Edward was born, Queen Margaret held the boy up to the king. Henry was unable to understand who the child was. The prevailing theory now is that Henry was suffering from catatonic schizophrenia. Henry recovered in 1455, yet he transferred most of the duties of kingship to his queen. The play begins in 1455, when the Duke of York fought against him at the Battle of St. Albans. The Yorkists destroyed most of Henry's army in the Battle of Towton and claimed the crown on March 4th. Fearing for their lives, Henry fled to Scotland, yet he was compelled to return as Shakespeare dramatizes in Act 3, Scene 1. Henry was forced to return when Edward IV signed a treaty with the Scots. He arrived in England in 1463 disguised as a priest. Henry was captured and sent to the Tower of London. Yet the tide turned briefly in 1470 when Warwick released Henry and installed him in London as king once again. In 1471, Edward re-entered London with an army from Flanders and promptly put Henry back in the Tower. Henry died in captivity on May 21st, probably at the hands of Richard, Duke of Gloucester, Edward's brother. His body was first buried at Chertsey Monastery. The Duke of Gloucester, later King Richard III, re-interred the body at St. George's Chapel, Windsor. In Shakespeare's play, Henry is a saintly, if inept, king. His tragedy is that he shows great pity for his subjects, but is unable to help them. Shakespeare gives Henry a touching soliloquy where he reflects on his failure as king. Sitting on a molehill during the Battle of Towton, Henry imagines himself as a shepherd. So minutes, hours, days, months, and years passed over to the end they were created, would bring white hairs unto a quiet grave.